You know that feeling when the alarm hits and your body says 5 more minutes, but those 5 minutes turn into failure, regret, and wasted potential? Yeah, that's not just laziness. That's you letting comfort win the first battle of your day. Today I'm going to tell you how to destroy that laziness every single morning before it destroys your dreams. Because success doesn't start at the office. It starts the moment you open your eyes. When that alarm goes off, it's not just a sound, it's a test. It's the very first decision you make every single day, and it determines everything that follows. Most people think laziness begins later in the day when they start procrastinating or lose energy, but that's wrong. Laziness begins the moment you hesitate after that alarm rings. That tiny pause, that small negotiation with your comfort, is where it all starts. You see, the moment your mind says, 5 more minutes, your body obeys and your goals lose. Every morning, your bed becomes the battlefield where your future is either protected or surrendered. The blanket feels soft. The room is quiet. And everything inside you whispers, stay a little longer. But the truth is, those small choices are what separate the people who dream from the people who achieve. You don't lose to laziness because you're weak. You lose because you think the first 5 minutes don't matter, but they do. They matter more than you can imagine. When the alarm rings, it's not just time to wake up, it's time to prove something to yourself. It's your first chance to build momentum. The reason high performers and successful people seem unstoppable isn't because they're born that way. It's because they win the first battle of their day. They don't give their comfort a vote. They stand up before their mind has time to argue. You need to do the same. You have to get up, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. That's discipline. And discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. Think about it. When you hit snooze, what are you really saying? You're saying, I'll do it later. I'm not ready. Comfort matters more than commitment. You're teaching your brain to delay action, and that delay spreads through your entire day. You move slower, you think slower, and suddenly your entire routine becomes reactive instead of intentional. But when you get up immediately, when you don't hesitate, you send a different signal. I lead, my mind follows. That's how you start winning. Every time you get out of bed the moment your alarm goes off, you're reinforcing strength. You're rewiring your brain to act before doubt sets in. Laziness thrives in hesitation, and hesitation comes from overthinking. The longer you wait to move, the louder your excuses get. The only way to silence that voice is action. So don't think. Move. Don't negotiate. Execute. The people who wake up early and take immediate action aren't superhuman. They just understand that comfort is a trap. The warmth of your bed feels like safety, but it's stealing your momentum. You have to make your morning a statement, a declaration that today will not be controlled by feelings. Your body might be tired, your mind might resist, but your purpose has to be louder. There's power in that first step out of bed because it sets the tone for the entire day. If you start your morning by conquering resistance, everything else becomes easier. It's not about the time you wake up, it's about the attitude you wake up with. Even if it's 7 a.m. or 9 a.m., what matters is that when the time comes, you rise without hesitation. That single act builds self-respect, and self-respect kills laziness. You have to stop thinking of the alarm as an interruption and start thinking of it as an opportunity, a chance to practice discipline, to remind yourself that you are in charge. Because every morning gives you two choices: rise and shine, or sleep and surrender. And when you rise, something changes inside you. You start carrying a quiet confidence, an inner strength that says, I can rely on myself. That's how you build trust in your own word. You said you'd get up, and you did. You said you'd show up, and you did. That's how warriors are made, not in battles or arenas, but in small, quiet moments when nobody is watching. Getting up with discipline doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your life. It teaches you consistency. It builds momentum. It creates energy. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you give in to comfort at the start of the day, you'll keep giving in all day. But if you conquer it early, you carry that fire through every challenge, every task, every obstacle. Success isn't built from massive leaps. It's built from small wins stacked over time. And your first win happens when you open your eyes and refuse to quit before the day even starts. Before your feet even touch the ground, before the noise of the world enters your mind, there's a small window. A few seconds where you decide what kind of day it's going to be. Most people fill that space with complaints, with dread, with the same old tired thoughts of how hard life is. But those first thoughts are powerful. They shape your mindset, your mood, your energy, and ultimately, your results. The truth is, your mind wakes up before your body does, and what you feed it in those first moments will decide whether you win or lose the day. You can start your morning by thinking of problems, or you can start it by thinking of purpose. That's the difference between people who drag themselves through life and those who drive themselves forward. You have to train your mind before your body because everything physical begins as something mental. You can't expect energy, focus, or productivity if your first thought is negativity. Gratitude is the ignition key. It doesn't matter how big your goals are. If you can't appreciate where you are, you'll never enjoy where you're going. The moment you open your eyes, start with one thought: thank you. It doesn't matter who or what you thank. God, the universe, life itself. What matters is that you're reminding yourself that you woke up. You've been given another chance, and not everyone gets that privilege. Gratitude immediately shifts your state from lack to abundance, from fear to calm, from hesitation to movement. When you start with gratitude, your brain releases chemicals that set a positive emotional tone. You feel more grounded, more in control, more focused. You're no longer waking up into stress. You're waking up into purpose. That's the power of perspective. You can look at your life and see all the things that are missing, or you can look at it and see all the things that are working. One fuels laziness. The other fuels action. When your mind wakes up with gratitude, your body follows with energy. You don't need an energy drink. You need a mindset shift. But gratitude isn't the only training your mind needs in the morning. You have to direct your thoughts intentionally. The moment you open your eyes, your brain starts looking for direction. If you don't give it one, it'll grab whatever fear, doubt, or distraction is easiest. That's why people start their morning scrolling through their phones, because they haven't learned to command their thoughts. You have to become the coach of your mind, not the spectator. You can start by asking yourself powerful questions. What's one thing I can accomplish today that moves me forward? What's one thing I can be proud of by the end of the day? These questions train your brain to focus on solutions, not problems. They shift your attention from what's wrong to what can I do? It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about refusing to start your day in defeat. When you start your morning with gratitude and intention, you build a mental armor. Life will still throw challenges your way, but they won't hit as hard because your mindset is already set on progress. You'll react slower to negativity, you'll stay calmer under stress, and you'll make better choices. That's not luck. That's training. Just like your muscles need daily exercise, your thoughts need daily conditioning. Every morning, your mind presents two doors, one marked comfort, the other marked growth. The door of comfort feels safe, familiar, easy, but behind it is the same routine, the same frustration, the same stagnation. The door of growth takes effort, it takes awareness, it takes practice. And that door opens with gratitude. You can't grow from a mindset that complains. You can only grow from one that appreciates. When you look around and find reasons to be thankful, you're not denying your challenges, you're taking control of them. Training your mind before your body also means rejecting the mental junk that tries to enter the moment you wake up. That means no phone, no emails, no social media, because the moment you let the world's noise in, you lose control of your own. Start with silence, not screens. Start with your thoughts, not someone else's opinions. That first hour is sacred. It's where clarity lives. What you think about in that time will multiply throughout your day. If you fill it with gratitude, focus, and intention, you'll attract more of it. If you fill it with stress, comparison, and distraction, you'll carry that weight all day long. This is how you destroy laziness from the inside out, not by forcing your body to move, but by training your mind to lead. Because a lazy body follows a lazy thought, and a strong thought creates strong action. The mind is your first muscle to wake up, And if you strengthen it every morning with gratitude and purpose, you'll find that discipline doesn't feel forced anymore. It feels natural. When your thoughts align with your goals, your actions automatically follow. That's how you start winning your mornings long before you take your first step out of bed. There's something powerful about cold water. It's raw, it's real, and it doesn't care how you feel. The moment it hits your skin, everything inside you wakes up. Your heart races, your breath sharpens, your mind snaps into focus. That's not just a reaction. That's your body being forced into life. Most people start their mornings slowly, trying to ease their way into the day with comfort. A warm bed, a warm drink, a warm shower. And that's exactly why they stay stuck in the same place. Comfort keeps you slow. Comfort keeps you average. But when you step into cold water, you send a message to your entire system that the easy path is not an option today. You choose challenge over comfort, action over hesitation, and that choice sets the tone for everything else that follows. Cold water does more than just wake your body, it clears your mind. It shocks your system into alertness, forcing your focus into the present moment. You can't think about your worries, your deadlines, or your problems when icy water is rushing over you. You're forced to breathe, to control your reaction, to adapt. That's training, not just for your body, but for your mind. It teaches you to face discomfort head on, instead of running from it. And that habit, repeated every morning, begins to rewire your brain. You start to associate discomfort with growth instead of fear. That's where laziness starts to lose its power over you. People often underestimate how physical habits shape mental patterns. The body and mind are connected. What you do with one affects the other. When you train your body to embrace discomfort, your mind learns resilience. It learns that struggle isn't danger. It's progress. You become mentally tougher, emotionally calmer, and physically more energized. Cold water is a simple but powerful symbol of that truth. It's not about the temperature, it's about what it represents. Every drop says, I choose growth. Every breath says, I control my reaction. Every second says, I'm stronger than my excuses. When you take that first step into cold water, your instinct will scream to stop. That's the same voice that whispers to you when it's time to work, when it's time to push harder, when it's time to get uncomfortable in any part of life. The voice of comfort is always loudest right before the moment of growth. But the beauty of the cold is that it teaches you to silence that voice. It reminds you that your feelings don't define your limits. You can be uncomfortable and still be in control. You can be cold and still be calm. You can feel resistance and still choose action. The reason so many people stay trapped in laziness is because they chase comfort every morning. They hit snooze. They scroll through their phones. They ease into the day like they have forever. But you don't grow from easy mornings. You grow from mornings that demand something from you. Cold water demands focus. It demands control. It demands presence. You can't fake your way through it. You can't pretend to be tough. You have to be. That's why so many high performers, athletes, and disciplined individuals use it as part of their morning ritual. It's not about the physical benefit alone. It's about the mindset it builds. There's a moment when the cold hits and your body wants to tense up, to escape, to resist. That's the moment you practice control. You breathe deeply, you stay still, and you ride through it. That exact moment, that resistance, mirrors everything you'll face during the day. A difficult task, an uncomfortable conversation, an unexpected setback. The same instinct to pull away appears in every form of challenge. But if you've already practiced calm under pressure first thing in the morning, you'll carry that strength into everything else. You're not training your body to handle cold water, you're training your soul to handle life. And the best part is, it doesn't take long. Just 60 seconds under cold water can transform your energy. It resets your focus, it spikes your adrenaline naturally, and it wipes away the fog that laziness thrives in. It's the fastest way to remind yourself that you are alive, capable, and in control. You don't need caffeine to wake up, you need challenge. You don't need comfort, you need clarity. The cold gives you both. It strips away the distractions and leaves you with one clear truth. If you can handle this, you can handle anything. That's how cold water destroys laziness. It doesn't just wake your body, it wakes your mindset. It turns "I can't" into "I will." It turns "I don't feel like it" into "I'll do it anyway." It makes you realize that motivation is overrated. What you need is control. And control comes from practice, from pushing yourself into discomfort until it becomes normal. Every morning you face that cold, you're telling your mind and body, we do hard things. You build discipline, confidence, and strength, all before the day even begins. Most people wait to feel motivated before they move, but that's the biggest lie laziness ever told. Motivation doesn't come first, movement does. The truth is, your body is the ignition switch for your brain. The moment you start moving, your energy starts rising, your thoughts become clearer, and your focus sharpens. But if you wait to feel ready, you'll wait forever. That's the trap so many fall into. They tell themselves they'll start after coffee, after breakfast, after they feel like it. But those moments never come because energy doesn't appear from stillness. It appears from action. You don't move because you're motivated. You become motivated because you move. Every successful morning starts with motion. It doesn't have to be a full workout or a complicated routine. It just has to be something that signals to your brain that the day has begun. It could be stretching, doing push-ups, a short walk, or even making your bed with intention. What matters is that you do something physical before you let your mind wander into distraction. Your body has energy waiting to be unlocked, but it stays trapped when you stay still. The fastest way to break laziness is to start moving, even when every part of you resists. Because once you move, your emotions follow. There's a powerful connection between the way you move and the way you think. When you sit hunched over, still, and sluggish, your brain mirrors that state. Slow, tired, foggy. But when you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with purpose, your brain starts producing chemicals that boost alertness and focus. You can change your entire state of mind in seconds just by changing your posture, your breathing, or your pace. That's why lazy mornings feel so heavy, because the body hasn't been activated yet. The longer you stay still, the deeper you sink into that fog. But when you take action, when you physically move, that fog starts to lift. Think of motion as momentum. The first few seconds are always the hardest because you're pushing against resistance, not physical resistance, but mental resistance. Your mind wants comfort, your body wants rest, and both will try to convince you to delay. But if you push through those first 30 seconds, everything changes. Your brain starts releasing dopamine, that natural reward chemical that makes you feel good for doing something productive. That's when momentum takes over. It's like pushing a heavy rock. It's hard to get it rolling, but once it's moving, it doesn't stop easily. That's how energy works. It's built through effort, not ease. Movement is the antidote to overthinking. Laziness thrives when you sit still and let your thoughts spiral. You start doubting yourself, planning too much, analyzing every small detail. But when you move first, you silence that noise. You give your brain a clear message. We're not waiting for perfect. We're starting now. That single decision separates the disciplined from the distracted. Because winners act first, think later. They trust that once they're in motion, clarity will come. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a bus that never arrives. You've got to start walking to get anywhere. Even the smallest actions can build massive momentum. Making your bed, brushing your teeth with energy, opening your curtains wide to let the light in. These are small victories that signal your brain to wake up. Each one says, we're moving forward today. And those small victories stack up fast. They build rhythm, and rhythm turns into consistency. Once you build that rhythm every morning, laziness starts to lose its grip on you. Your body starts expecting movement, craving it. It becomes part of who you are, not just something you force yourself to do. There will always be mornings where your body feels heavy, your mind feels cloudy, and you don't want to move. Those are the mornings that matter most. Because what you do on the days you don't feel like it defines your entire identity. If you give in to comfort once, it becomes easier to give in again. But if you choose movement, if you get up, stretch, breathe, take even one intentional step, you win. Not just over the morning, but over the mindset that tries to hold you back. Action creates clarity. When you move, your mind organizes itself around that motion. You start seeing solutions instead of problems, possibilities instead of excuses. That's because the body's energy fuels the mind's creativity. The more you move, the more ideas flow, the more confidence grows. That's why some of your best thoughts come when you're walking or exercising, because motion frees the mind. The secret is to stop waiting for inspiration and start acting like the person you want to be. You don't need to be in the right mood. You need to take the right step. Once your body starts moving, your mind falls in line. Every morning you're faced with a choice: stay still and let laziness win, or move and take control. Because once you move first, everything else starts to move with you. The first hour of your morning decides the direction of your entire day. Most people waste it on things that drain their energy before they've even done anything meaningful. They open their phones, scroll through social media, read messages, check notifications, and let other people's noise fill their minds. That one small habit kills focus, weakens discipline, and feeds laziness. You can't expect clarity when your first act of the day is distraction. The moment you wake up, your mind is clear, quiet, and ready to absorb. It's your most powerful mental state of the day. But the second you hand it over to your phone, you lose control. The world tells you what to think, how to feel, and what to focus on. That's how laziness creeps back in, not as a lack of movement, but as a lack of mental direction. The secret to destroying laziness every morning is to feed your drive, not your distractions. The first hour after waking up should belong only to you, not your friends, not your feed, not the world. This is your time to set your mind in motion, to fill it with purpose and intention. The reason high achievers protect their mornings so fiercely is because they know once that first hour is lost, the rest of the day follows. If you spend the beginning of your day reacting to everyone else's lives, you'll spend the rest of it running away from your own. When you wake up, instead of grabbing your phone, grab your thoughts. Write them down. Think about what you want to accomplish today. Visualize it. See yourself already winning. That simple mental practice trains your brain to move toward purpose instead of distraction. You're programming your mind for action. And the more you repeat that habit, the faster your body follows. Laziness doesn't survive in a mind that's focused on purpose. It only survives in a mind that's busy being distracted. Your brain is like a sponge in the morning. It absorbs whatever you feed it first. If you feed it noise, it fills with chaos. If you feed it negativity, it fills with doubt. But if you feed it purpose, it fills with power. Reading something inspiring, listening to something motivational, or simply sitting in silence while focusing on your goals, these acts fuel you. They remind you of what matters before the day tries to make you forget. You don't need to spend hours meditating or journaling. You just need to claim your mental space before the world does. It's not just about avoiding your phone. It's about choosing what energy you allow into your mind. Every message, every post, every notification comes with emotional weight. You might not feel it immediately, but it adds up. It distracts your thoughts, scatters your attention, and drains your motivation. And when your energy is divided that early, laziness becomes the easy option. But when you protect your first hour, you build strength. You train your mind to be proactive, not reactive. You teach yourself to lead your day instead of follow it. Think of your morning like an empty canvas. You can paint it with purpose, or you can let others scribble on it. If you fill it with intention, by moving, by reflecting, by planning, the rest of your day reflects that clarity. If you fill it with distraction, by scrolling, comparing, consuming, your day reflects that confusion. The choice seems small, but it changes everything. Successful people aren't more disciplined because they have stronger willpower. They're disciplined because they protect their energy. They understand that the first hour of the day determines how strong or weak they'll feel for the next 12. Start by creating a small morning ritual that fuels you. Maybe it's drinking water, stretching, writing a few goals, or repeating affirmations that anchor your mindset. The goal isn't to build a perfect routine. It's to build a powerful one. One that wakes up your mind and body without the noise of the outside world. When you do this, you start your day with clarity instead of chaos. You replace reaction with direction. You move from distraction to discipline. Laziness feeds on confusion. When your mind is cluttered, your actions slow down. But when your mind is clear, your body follows with purpose. That's why the first hour matters. It's where you design the mindset that will carry you through the rest of the day. You can choose to start your morning by reacting to everyone else's priorities, or you can start by focusing on your own. The difference between a lazy day and a productive one isn't how much energy you have. It's how you choose to spend that first burst of awareness after waking up. Feed your drive every morning. Don't reach for your phone, reach for your purpose. Don't fill your mind with noise, fill it with focus. Don't start your day with comparison, start it with conviction. That first hour is your foundation. Protect it. Because once you own your mornings, laziness never stands a chance.